You'd have to be mad to settle here.
Hi, Zizaran here with another Leaguestarter for 3.25, and this is a experimental risky build. Retaliate skills. This is a collab with Garatha, who has been putting out banger after banger. So if you want to play something experimental and you still wanted to pop off, this is probably a good bet because Garatha himself is league starting this. So what you can do is level with the safe Sunder setup, and you can watch how he levels with the Retaliate setup. And if it's a banger, you can swap to that. And remember that gold will make respecking easier than before because we have gold and regrets. So a lot of cool opportunities here. And honestly, make sure you check Garatha out, an amazing build creator. So with that in mind, Garatha, how do you imagine Retaliate is going to work both for mapping and bossing?
My idea in my head is I'm going to be clearing packs with shield charge. I might even 4-link my shield charge with like delirium gloves. I mean, worst case scenario, you just use like Sunder or like Earthquake for clearing, and then you use your Retaliate when it procs. I'm thinking the Retaliates will probably chain together pretty well, but we have to see how that plays out. For bossing, some bosses might be a little weird. That's why we have the Penance Mark ring for things like the Maven Drain, for example. That might be a little clunky. I think because of that, it'll probably be more of a mapper. But I think you'll be able to do the bosses pretty easily, especially if you take more of attrition early on. It should be completely fine for that as well.
What are some issues people can run into or mess up on this build?
So if you guys are not aware, if you block a hit in PoE, you actually still get stunned based on how much damage it would have done. So early on especially, you probably want to take block recovery nodes, and later on, Unwavering becomes pretty important for block builds, I think. That's what I would recommend for a new player. Otherwise you get into a situation where you get stun locked and it's just not very fun, and you might be like, not sure why, and it feels bad. That's why it's happening.
A thing I would recommend to people is make sure that you have an okay amount of block before you go Iron Reflexes and take Unwavering Stance. Because if you have no evasion and just a decent amount of armor, even though a lot of the damage is being mitigated, you're getting hit so often. So you'll notice a lot less damage, even with 30 to 40% block. And this build gets very high block very early. So keep that in mind before you take Unwavering and Iron Reflexes. So this is Path of Building. If you're not familiar with it, we do have a full video going through Path of Building, but this is used for all our build guides, extremely important. So once you've imported it, Garatha has put a lot of work here, and we have different setups. So we have a leveling setup, which is like normal, step by step, and this is the safe one, the one in green. The one in yellow, this is for Retaliate, and do remember, I don't think we have the Retaliate skill gems in yet, so we can't simulate that. But it does look like it's going to be roughly double damage off the Sunder. So if all things are good, it should be some spicy damage. Keep that in mind. If you do want to try it, it is not even like that different than the other skill tree. And at the end game, the builds kind of converge, so respecking is even easier. So it is very much made with that in mind. Same with the skill sets here. We go through and you level with a Spectral Throw. That's all you need early. And then at level 12, you switch to Sunder. And then obviously you will have Retaliate gems that you can switch to. For the Retaliate gems, they're not in PoB yet. You will be able to watch Garatha live and see how he does it and what he does. So keep that in mind. It will be very easy for him to solve problems on the fly, and both him and his chat will be able to help you answer questions and stuff. Then we have like an endgame setup here with Awaken gems. If you go to items, there are loads of different item sets. So for example here with a shield, so early on all you want is a weapon with physical damage. If you can get like either the recipe works or, you know, using a Contempt Essence, and there's resist on all of the gear. And then here we have like pretty basic gear. It's just life and resist, and if you can start getting suppression and some chaos rest, that's good. Flasks, they are very important. You can see we use the flagellant roll on everything, and then we have armor, curse reduction, shock effect, and reduced effect of chill here. We have bleed immunity on life flask, and the life flask you do want it to be either half instant or fully instant. We have some min-max gear here as well, with like this is pretty much the best ring you could get. Calendra's Touch is whatever the best ring you could get is, right? Resalthus Coil, going to be very pricey this league, but yeah. There's a reason for that. It is extremely good. So all of this gear is like chase gear that you want to go for. And here are some like endgame things. Home signs, very, very common. We have a lot of different gear you can go for. And we always try to like underestimate and downplay the gear, so this isn't too crazy. If you go to the notes section, you can see that we go through different questions of what we think can be problems. And yeah, Sunder obviously going to be very dreamy to level with after the huge buffs. So that's not something we're worried about. We are only worried about the retaliation heals. It'll be really interesting to see how this performs, especially with Karatha playing it, because he's usually able to solve every problem. So there you have it, guys. Karatha is league starting this, so make sure you tune into him. He's going to be live so much at League Start, and it's going to be really fun to watch how he figures out the build, progresses, etc. Maybe we'll try to do an interview with Karatha a few days into the league and ask how everything went. But either way, huge thank you to Karatha for putting so much effort into the build. As always, really excited to see what he comes up with. And I hope you all enjoy the build guide, whether you're level with Sunder or try the experimental Retaliate. I hope you have a great time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sub to both of us if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.